Welcome to No Quit, the podcast where real business isn't filtered. I'm Jeff Scherer, founder of Fleur-de-Lis Law and Title. I've built an 8-figure company, but not without setbacks, burnouts, and moments that nearly broke me. This podcast is where I tell the truth about what it really takes to grow something that lasts. The wins, the losses, and the grit in between. If you're in it for more than just the highlight reel, you're in the right place. The stories shared on this podcast are based on real experiences, but details have been changed or generalized to protect client confidentiality. This podcast is for informational purposes only and does not constitute legal advice. Listening to this podcast does not create an attorney-client relationship. Welcome to another episode of the No Quit podcast. I'm Jeff Scherer, your host. Today, we are here with my partner at Fleur-de-Lis Law and Title, Mr. Stephen Scherer. So Stephen, obviously I know a lot about you, but for the viewers out there, give me the kind of the 60-second to 2-minute, what is Stephen about?
60 seconds, 2 minutes. So I'm a partner here at Fleur-de-Lis Title. My wife, Liz, and I have 2 kids, 5-year-old son, Davey, 7-year-old daughter, Mackie, pulled one of her teeth out last night. Born and raised here in Hammond, went to LSU, did some time after LSU in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. That was really fun, so it comes up a lot. And then went to, made it out of there, barely, and went to law school at Loyola in New Orleans, and then came back to Hammond. So I call that kind of my triangle of Hammond, Baton Rouge, and New Orleans living.
I didn't mean to put you under that much of a time pressure cooker. That was almost too quick, man. You got a lot going on in that short span of time. So kind of some of the things I wanted to delve into today, I guess. First of all, did you do anything special for Mackie, pulling the tooth out, like tie it to a golf cart?
No, we tried. She was being really annoying. It was dangling for days, and we basically just like held her down and tickled her, and I think it just fell out because she was finally laughing so hard.
But something. I just know there's very little outside of these walls that I feel like is vanilla in your life. So I'm like shocked you didn't tie it to a rocket or something like that. And
we tried. We had plans. Davey had all the devices lined up. He was ready.
Oh,
to
he's
rock.
into it now. Yeah.
He was going to rip that sucker out. But every time we got the string around it, she would run and laugh and take it off somehow.
I'm not around a whole lot of younger kids these days, but I feel like your 2 are some of the most interesting kids. Mackie's kind of almost sly or I don't know, something about it is a little sneaky. I feel like at times, but super cute. And Davey is a wild man. I think y'all are gonna be. I don't know. You got some fun ahead. I think with that one.
Yeah, both of them. I mean, Davey says a lot of interesting stuff. His teacher told me he was a deep thinker and asked some really hard questions, which he does.
Like what? I want to hear some of this.
Just anything. If it like God.
Yeah, really? Wow.
Getting
philosophical.
And man, anything, just how stuff works. He's really into tires right now and looks at different tread patterns of every vehicle.
I mean, what goes on? Do you think it's just in him, or do y'all have like really interesting conversations like that, you and Liz at home, that he's picking up on?
I mean, yeah, I try and talk to him and explain stuff to him rather than just let him,
You got to be doing it more than most.
I'm scared
days.
He's going to be like an iPad kid. I'm scared both my kids are. So we're like so scared of that we're probably going
overdoing the other
way.
Yeah, because I see the exact opposite. I'd be shocked that they even had an iPad. I feel like that they're anything but that.
They do, and they love them, so they want it all the time.
But he's into dirt biking like you, right?
Keep them locked up. Yeah, so it's not hard to keep the kids outside because we put a lot of fun stuff in our yard. We got the zip line and the bikes and the motorbikes and the electric bikes and like all the kids stuff. So they like being outside, but at the same time, they're like any other kid. They want those screens and stuff. And so we're trying to balance life. So they're, I
mean, look, it gets hard to keep them off of that.
Yeah.
Because there's those times where you need them to be quiet, whether you're at a restaurant or maybe you're on a road trip and you're tired of hearing them fight or whatever. But it does develop the dependency. Now, I mean, it can go, in a good way too. I feel like our middle child, at least, is super artistic now because he spent so much time drawing on it. Now, he doesn't do much else, but I mean, it's his favorite thing. It's his love. It's what he's going to probably do as a career. So, at least that comes out of it. But But yeah, there are times I wish they would want to go to the camp more, or do some things outdoors more that they just aren't geared for anymore, I guess.
Yeah.
But so yeah, so one of the things I wanted to touch on today is your life outside of this place. And I know stories are going to come up with Liz and the kids a good bit, but let's go further back. So I mean, you have been a dirt bike riding guy since when?
I got a dirt bike when I was 3.
3 years old.
My dad was like, hobby, had dirt bikes on and off throughout his life, but I guess just went and got one. I guess I was asking. I was riding a bike when I was 3 without training wheels, and so.
I mean, I rode a bike at 3 too, but I wasn't riding anything motorized.
On a dirt bike, and we had a little bit of room in the yard, and my dad was kind of into them, so yeah, got the dirt bike for Christmas, and rode around. I think my dad rigged it with he cut a little spoke or something and put it in the carburetor to where you could only twist the throttle so much.
Yeah,
which comes standard on him now, but he was ahead of his time or something.
Governing.
So you could just kind of put the kid on there, whether they can touch or not, hit the gas and go, push them off.
Lord.
So
I didn't know he rode before too. I guess that's the part that I was missing. I just thought he bought you one and you kind of took to it, but so he had the same love for it, which had developed you, and now you're doing the same with your kids.
He rode a little. There were some areas he wasn't like racing, but he actually lived over there by like Green Lawn Cemetery, and I don't think there were many people in there. So he was supposedly riding around in the vacant areas of the cemetery in downtown Hammond when he was a kid. But yeah, and then we just kind of got into it, and then probably
what age did you start racing?
It up at like 8, 9,
okay.
And then they built the track. I grew up by the airport in Hammond. They built the track in Laranja, basically right down the street. But
you raced
9.
like all over, like all over the state, probably outside the state too.
We went from like 9 to 16 or so. We were every weekend. Sometimes we would chase multiple races in a weekend, and everywhere in Louisiana for sure, Texas a lot, Mississippi a lot, all the way Oklahoma, Illinois, Missouri.
Did your mom have
Kentucky.
a choice in this? I mean, was she always down with it? I mean, because my mom would be terrified.
Oh, she didn't like it. No. She would come and they would enjoy it the best they could. But with 2 sisters, they were usually coming every now and again, usually to the closer races or the tracks that had the cleaner toilets and things like that. And we weren't full on camping. We were usually rolling with the stay in the hotel, the cheap hotel with just me and my dad, or we'd drive. If it was within 3 or so hours, we were just waking up however early we had to wake up. We would drive to Florida on a Saturday, race till midnight, and drive back home.
So dirt bike racing, you ski a lot too, right? And snowboard and stuff?
Yeah, I got into that a little later.
Probably, when was that?
My parents used to go skiing when I was little, and they didn't bring us.
Really?
I'm still mad at them. So I'm trying to change that and bring my kids. But like 8th grade, we skied a little bit as a family and everything. And then in college, I got into it a lot more. Just loved it. Went as much as I could, even being totally broke. I just found super cheap ways to go skiing. And then after college, had some friends in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, which I'd hardly ever even heard of, to be honest. And that there was kind of a path where I could go sleep on a couch, put my belongings in a camper top on my truck, and come up with a way to start working at a ski shop there. And
but it started out you driving there, so you drove your truck up there, and
I drove my GMC truck with 250,000 miles.
I mean, how many hours is that?
It's about 28.
You hit it all at once? Or you made stops?
I found a friend that was going on vacation there, Jay Grizzoli, and Jay is a very efficient guy. He had a Prius at the time, and so I got this clunker GMC truck with a huge camper top on the back that I found on Craigslist, just catching wind the whole way.
Super aerodynamic.
Super gas guzzler. And he was going to fly there, and I convinced him to ride with me and split the gas at first. But then he quickly did the math and was like, dude, it's going to take 2 days, and
all the money
it's going to cost more than the plane to get you there. And I'm like, well, look, you don't even have to split it 50-50. I'll make it worthwhile so I don't have to drive by myself.
Yeah.
So I got him to ride with me, and we changed off a little bit. I remember stopping at McDonald's to download an audio book because we were bored, and there was no like the phones just weren't there. This is like 2010.
So how long did you spend up there?
Like 9 or so months.
Yeah. Good grief.
And then went back during law school a few times. It was fun. I mean, at the same time, I don't know many. Most of the friends I had there were not able to stay there just because life gets too complicated and the housing situation there. And so I kind of saw that and was like, I've already applied to law school, got in, going there. But there was definitely like the thoughts in my head of, if I can find some way to make it work here. Yeah. There was the Anheuser-Busch distributor there. Mm-hmm. Was the only probably like real job that I applied for. And the guy just didn't, I don't even think he was hiring or like posting ads. I just walked in because I was like, all right, what do I want to do? And so I walked in the beer place and asked the guy, and it was kind of like a cool smaller town distributor. And I talked to the guy there, and he was like, yeah, I like it. We had a great conversation. He's like, I don't really have anything for you. The day before I left, or maybe the week before I left to go back home to law school, he offered me a job with like a salary and benefits. I don't know what the salary was. It's probably terrible.
I know, but how different life would have been. I mean, there's no getting married, no kids. Now, I tell my kids that all the time. I joke with them. I'm like, it took me a year to convince Martha to marry me after we first met. And the only real difference we realized was she didn't like my haircut the first time we met. The next time I look different. And I'm like, do you realize? I tell my youngest that all the time. I was like, do you realize you're here because I changed my haircut?
I got a haircut.
I'm like, you wouldn't exist if I had kept the old haircut. Man, you've been working for a beer distributor and
selling beer. I would have had to survive the Bud Light crisis.
Yeah, I guess so.
I don't know if they sell Modelo or not.
Didn't you spend some time too, like with one of the Waterman boys down like Nicaragua or something like that, surfing or something?
Yeah, that kind of crossed paths with you in a way there.
Yeah, that's right.
I think so I just graduated law school and I did have a job lined up. And right when I kind of got it locked in, they're like, all right, this is the day that you're starting. It was like 14 days out. So in my head, I'm like, I got 14 days to do whatever I want. And I'm going to eventually get paid. So like, I might as well just, spend every last dollar I have. So I went with my buddy, Miles Waterman, and he was already in Nicaragua surfing, and he was not coming home anytime soon. So I just met up with him. Yeah. And we rode around, went to several different places.
Didn't y'all live like in huts on the beach or something?
Motorcycles and cruised around.
Good
and
Lord.
Drove those a couple hours. Yeah, stayed in a little hut with electricity, but it was like, basically sand floor almost. I don't know. It was sand right out. It was on the sand. Kind of hammocks or bunks or something.
Did you got to write a book one day or some kind of novel? Because I feel like your life experiences are such that nobody's got the same sort of background that you do.
I guess.
But I met your dad. I was actually campaigning. I met your dad at what used to be Rose's Cantina, whatever. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. And he comes up to me and asked me if I was a lawyer. I'd never met him before. And I said, yeah. And he's like, well, yeah, I got a son. He just finished law school. He's surfing down in Nicaragua right now. And I'm thinking to myself, what kind of lawyer gets out of law school and is surfing in Nicaragua? Like, seems so foreign to me. Like, all the lawyers I knew were the most boring people. Like, how does this happen? But yeah, it still was a while before we actually met, because I think it was BJ Cuvion and your sister that kind of connected us, I believe.
That job was oil and gas title work. So I was kind of learning how to do title work, thinking that I'd stay in oil and gas. But the day I drove to that job, it literally, someone was on the radio. It was like, well, it's a bad day to work in oil and gas. And it was my first day. And things were just kind of like, the work wasn't picking up because the oil and gas industry is just kind of like that, I guess. And
I never heard that part of the story. It's like Wolf on Wall Street. You seen that movie?
Yeah.
When he gets finally gets his license, and it's like the first day, it's like the 87 crash.
Yeah. basically. I survived there for like, 6 months or so, but the work was just kind of drying up, it was inevitable. And then did some BP stuff, which was all land title related as well, and it was oil and gas related. And while I was doing that, the office that I was working in kind of had a sister title company.
Mm-hmm.
So I saw a little bit of it, and I saw that I had some of the overlapping, title and abstracting skills and stuff like that. So then I kind of made up my mind that I wanted to look in the title industry, started looking at title companies, in and around Hammond, and came across yours and saw that you had, some mutual friends. So I asked a few of them about it. One of them being
that's the part of the story
sister.
that I'm both, I love and I'm embarrassed about, because the guy who became my partner is probably the one person I gave the hardest time ever to even get a job here. And I don't even recall why. I don't know what experience I'd had that was so bad before, but I just remember you, kind of inquiring through your sister and through BJ and me sending you an email that was really almost like out of my character, I feel like, about all the ways I wasn't going to overextend myself, and you were going to get paid, hourly or something like that, and don't expect me to show you. I mean, real asshole type email, and you took the job anyway, which maybe says more about the job market than anything, but at the time. But yeah, man, I don't know what they taught you or what you did for that previous company, but you're the most gifted abstractor and examiner, both from a perspective of doing the work, but also the practical approach you have for curing title defects that I've ever seen. I used to think I was really good at the job, and clearly don't feel that way anymore, because I try not to touch any of that stuff if I can help it, and let you handle it. But yeah, you picked up something, or you just had a gift for it, a talent for it, because you're excellent at it.
Thank you. But
I'm glad you got that exciting part of your life on the outside, because
I think of that first job in oil and gas, I did have some people that were like really into sitting there and showing me what to do.
Yeah.
And part of that was because the work was drying up. So the slower that they went, the more work they got paid. Yeah. So we had a really thorough learning experience there. And then on the opposite end, it was kind of like the BP stuff was like a little bit of a crash course. Figure it out yourself. And there was a carrot of a commission there at the end, so I was very motivated to figure it out myself.
Man, it was a perfect storm, dude, because you picked it up perfectly.
So I had a little bit of training and then none, but I had to, enough to figure out how to figure it out, I guess. And then since being here, we went through the huge title boom where I'm, basically locked myself in a room doing title work 24/7.
Fast paced.
So I definitely got a lot of reps in. Over the years.
Yeah, I feel like you've gotten so good too, because it's like there's not just one area that we handle, right? I mean, it's not. Thankfully, the title company is not just Haynes Road Parish anymore. So you're seeing, city issues in Orleans and rural tracts and Kentwood and subdivisions, which are easier, but come with their own issues. Whether it's homeowner associations and whatever else. But I feel like you got such a wide breadth too of everything. That's why you have done so well, I guess, in kind of watching over that whole abstract, spiel. But I mean, are you ever, I don't know, you ever bored with it? Because you don't seem like you are.
I mean, some stuff that used to take a long time just doesn't take a long time anymore. So, you're able to, it's not that the job changes that much, but you change, I change because I don't have to spend as much time doing this or that, because I've got all the scenarios worked out in my head and we just know the answer. And not only that, the people around me that work with me know the answer too.
Yeah,
so it doesn't even have to come across the bar desk, there too. Honestly, we're all, we were relatively green crew at some point, and we've all kind of got experience together. So I've got some, awesome people helping me, abstractors and processors and attorneys.
Yeah.
So that helps a lot. But
so outside of here, though, I mean, you're still like, you haven't slowed down. Really, doesn't seem like, with the dirt bike racing. Now it's just you're bringing Davey into it, the skiing, that kind of things. Is there anything else that I don't know about? Like, because I feel like, didn't you jump out of a helicopter and ski at your?
No, we went Heli-Skiing for my bachelor party, which is. You're not jumping out of the helicopter. It's just you're able to access better areas to ski. So
I know, but some people would be like, riding a helicopter in an open field is dangerous. You're going up a mountain.
The helicopter part is crazy compared to normal helicopter rides because the terrain it's all white, so you have very little like depth perception.
Yeah.
And then it's uneven. So if you're standing here and the helicopter's there, you can get your head chopped off, I guess.
Yeah.
So they are very strict about, they lay the skis and snowboards down. You pretty much lay next to it so you can be as low as possible just in case they're wrong. Because even if they landed in the same spot last week, there's snow coming down. So you might be higher or
So
lower.
they have done some kind of homework. I mean, they're not just like kind of randomly, like they don't have some way of picking out where they should land.
No, I think they have it laid out like almost like in a golf course. So they'll have, 18 pins throughout their massive area, national forest or whatever they call it.
Yeah, where was this at? Was this in Canada?
Like Whistler area.
Where's that?
Whistler, Canada.
Oh, Canada.
British Columbia. Yeah. So they have it laid out and they'll have like designated landing spots. So they kind of know like roughly which runs.
So how many trips up a mountain in a helicopter do you take in a day?
I don't know how many we did, but I think at the end they call it, let's say it's 7 or something. And so these are like 7 really long runs compared to riding a lift, for example. If a lift brings you up 800 vertical feet, this might be like 2,000 vertical feet or something. Wow. So each helicopter ride is like the equivalent of
3 trips,
taking 3 or 4 lifts up a mountain.
I know nothing about
and then skiing
right?
all the way down to the bottom, which people rarely take 3 all the way up and ski all the way back down. They usually just kind of lap a lift or 2. And so probably 6 or so helicopter rides, and then they get you, and they're like, well, for $100 more, we can all throw in, and like everybody in the helicopter has to be together on it. So like, you don't want to be the cheap one that doesn't pay the $100. But I'm like, oh, yeah, I guess we can go again.
Jesus, man, it's still, I don't know. My daughter goes skiing. I mean, nothing like that, and it's, I don't know, so foreign to me, and it seems like something I would be into when I was younger. I think if I tried it now, I'd be terrified going down a mountain of some kind.
Still like it.
Yeah.
Ride the greens. Go snowmobiling one day.
That's something else too. I guess you can do.
Martha will like the spa.
Yeah.
The restaurants are always good. Shopping's dangerous in most of those places. Yeah.
Well, that'd be very dangerous for me.
The furs and the purses and the leathers and cowboy hats and cowboy boots. Depends where you're at, but it can obviously be pretty crazy.
Yeah. Well, is there something else, anything else interesting about Steven I should know about before we end the podcast? Because I feel like every time we talk over the last, 10 years that you've been with us, there's always some story that I'm just like, damn, I didn't know that about you either. Whether it was your big parties you would throw for the fraternities and sororities out at your camp when you were in college, or the ramp that you would build when you would, how many bicycles are at the bottom of the water?
There's probably a couple, but we fished them. We've,
fished them out.
The EPA. We fished most of them out. So I think we're good.
Yeah. But surfing, Heli-Skiing, dirt bike racing, it's crazy the stories you have. And I know you're probably not going to come up with one off the cuff, but it's always exciting to hear. They're always great. And every time when I think this one's BS, you have a picture or some other crap that like always can substantiate it. It's amazing. So for anybody out there that ever has a closing with us, in addition to meeting the guy that's doing the heavy lifting with the work, if he ever sits at the table with you, you should ask some questions, because getting to know Steven's like getting to know Evel Knievel, but just at a law firm's conference table. So, but anyway, it's great to have you with us, man. I'm hoping people learn a little something about you here today. It's been great having you as a partner, and I can't wait to hear more of the stories as they finally surface, because I'm sure there's more.
Mostly letting the kids go now, so I'm taking the back seat.
Yeah, well, those stories are almost even more fun with Davey, so I'll be excited to hear. Excited to hear those.
As much stuff as I used to do, I was also kind of like the one that would kind of build the ramps, build the setup.
Yeah.
At one point when I was a little kid, I used to say I was going to be like a stunt engineer or something, because like I could set all this stuff up and like maybe even encourage a friend to do it who had better skill set for that particular thing. So I can make it kind of safe too. So the kids are in for it if they want to.
So what I'm hearing is Liz should be worried about what you drag your children
a
into.
little bit. I think Santa's bringing a dump truck load of dirt.
Oh Lord!
On Christmas
to the house.
To the house, yeah. So
I want video. I got to see this.
Yeah.
Well, cool, man. Good to have you with us, and I hope y'all learned a little something about Steven today. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
That's it for today's episode of No Quit. If you're still showing up, still building, still fighting, I see you. Subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts and join me for more behind-the-scenes lessons on what it takes to keep going when most people would walk away. And remember, success isn't about getting it perfect. It's about not giving up.